Hello everybody. So this is something I've been thinking about doing for a while, is just to follow up like a 6-month ownership, long-term user type review type situation. And also seeing that I've been getting a few comments lately has made me think it might be worthwhile doing. So yeah, I've had this case or desk case for over 6 months now. I think I got it, going by memory, was April, May last year. So yeah, my original video, as you probably saw already, it was more of a rant than a review. Just the building and construction took a good day and a half of careful construction and trying to plan things out, etc. So when you spend that long just working on a PC build, it can get a little frustrating, especially when you're used to just building a computer in a traditional case that can take anywhere between 30 minutes to 2 hours or longer, depending on cable management, etc. So, but as you can see, not much has changed from the desk layout. What I did afterwards, making that video, is went on to Amazon and found some very neat cable tidy stuff for the back of the desk, because on the original video it was just a slither of wire snakes coming down the back of the desk, which looked absolutely awful. So got those lovely black zippable sleeves and the white power strip box from Amazon for very, very cheap. I think the power strip box was something like £15, and the zip up cable tidy sleeves were something like £10 for a 4-pack. So extremely cheap to do and very tidy results. So my thoughts at the moment, I'm extremely happy with it. It's been just a wonderful desk to use, and from the practical aspects that I wanted and the hopes of comfort and usability have just been absolutely fantastic. So at the moment the desk is at my working height. I'm the type of person that likes to stand while I work. And for gaming, some gaming I actually do stand a lot to do now. I find playing first-person shooters is quite excellent standing up, but for games that require the use of the controller, yes, I'll lower the desk down and just lie back and relax. But trying to think of what I'd said before and what I haven't said yet, but I'll go in some detail here in a moment. But overall, the width of the room, as you see, is the actual width of my living room area. So I was quite limited for space, but the desk sits there quite nicely. And yeah, that's at nearly full height. It can go down lower. Like, I'll just demonstrate again here, just in case nobody's seen the previous video. But that is the desk at full height there. So yeah, so about 118 centimeters. Now, there is 4 presets that can be made, so I have them all set to my liking. But so going from highest to lowest, and there we are. It actually can get quite lower. I'll actually put it all the way down. So there we go. 69 centimeters is its lowest. So so yeah, I think I'll move the camera in a bit closer, and I'll just give you a bit of an overview of the outer areas and what it's still looking like inside. Okay. All right, so moving in a bit closer, this is our front panel. And of course you see that we have 4 USB ports. These are all Type 3. And the only negative thing I have to say about it is, due to the limitation of Type 3, you can only have 2 ports per header. So you actually have 2 of the USB Type 3 motherboard headers. So I personally don't know of any motherboards that has 2 USB 3 headers on the board. So only 2 could be used for me. Of course, there's probably a PCIe expansion card you can get, but because I like to keep things minimal and tidy inside, I don't want to be adding cards other than the GPU. So these 2 don't work, but thankfully my motherboard does have a Type C header, and the Type C header is here and works perfectly. So Here you have fan control if you prefer to have your fans controlled via the front panel, but I don't. I've all plugged into the motherboard and controlled through software. So you can change the RGB lights off the light strips only, I think, and power button reset down here. And of course this is the for the frosted glass, so I'll just show this again. And there you go. So the glass will frost over if you don't want to see inside, but because I don't have the lights fading in or out or doing strobe effects, I just like a static color. I find having a transparency just nice and comfortable, and I like to look in every now and again too. Who doesn't? So, okay, so I will just give you another look inside to show you how things are, and I'll give you my final thoughts, and we'll leave it at that, I think. Okay, so here we have a view looking in. It's not the best build in the world, and to be honest, I could probably do better. But once you get these things built and you have monitors on the desk, you tend not to want to go in again. But I do have some maintenance to do soon. There's a little bit of dust build-up, and yeah, I suppose I'll comment on that at the moment. Is one of my biggest concerns is there will be a lot of dust build-up inside, but I have to say the dust control is very good, even though despite the glass top that's on here has about 1 millimeter gap for air to get sucked in, and the front dust filter seems to do its job, even though there is some gaps to the side. But I am starting to notice some very light fluffy dust starting to build up on the base, but as I think I said in my earlier video, the only form of cable management you get in here is that the motherboard is installed on a metal plate. So you can install it on the plate outside of the case, and then you can set it in, screw it in, and you're done. So there is about a ½ centimeter gap between it and the floor of the desk, but you have to think ahead and know where the cables are going to go. So requires quite a bit of running from here to there, and for me, being my first time, there was a lot of instances where the desk or the motherboard tray had to come out and back in quite a few times to rechannel cables. But really the biggest gripe that I had is over here where the power supply is. Everything's just bare. I think it would have been nicer if there could have been at least some kind of a shroud, and but I do have some custom cables that I have ordered, especially for PCIe to the graphics card and the main 24-pin motherboard header. I got some nice light blue colored braided cables just to go with the cool blue aesthetic that I have going here. So next time I'm in there, I'll probably swap those over, and that'll improve the look quite a bit. So yeah, I just have that. This is one of the early generations of these Thermaltake RGB fans, so I have it connected to this controller. It didn't support RGB header on the board, unfortunately, so I may just replace those at some point later on. But again, I'm going off topic. It's not an upgrade video, so I'll leave it at that. But as you can see, there's loads of space in there, so it really is primarily for an open water loop build, and you can see a lot of holes all over the place on the base. Those are of course placements for water pumps and water pumps and water reservoir placements. So I think I have a box full of parts where there is some plates and mounting brackets and stuff like that, and so you have some flexibility as to where you want to move it. But maybe in the future, possibly even next year, I'm thinking of doing a complete upgrade on my rig. So if I do that, I may consider doing an open water loop, because I think that's what this case is really designed for. So okay, I'll move back to a better position and then just close up with some final thoughts. All right, so to wrap this up, I'll just try and go through positives and negatives again and my overall conclusion and recommendations. So to get the negatives out of the way, well, you can't ignore the cost. The price is premium, let's just say that, but there's really nothing else like it out there. I don't think Lian has much competition. So they've they're unique in the market in that sense. But if you're somebody that's in a position like I was, where you live in a small place, space is at a premium, and you're just trying to maintain as much of that space for living area rather than having your stuff take over your space, well, there really isn't much choice unless you wanted to do something like a wall mounted design using, say, a Thermaltake P3 or Core P5. You could certainly build in that and wall mount it, and then just use a normal desk for monitors, etc. But from somebody that wants to have a traditional desk to work from and game from, I don't think there's a better solution out there. And of course, there's the larger variants for those that want to go big or do have the space and just want to do a showpiece case. Then yeah, by all means. But speaking about this one specifically, yes, the price is the real obvious problem here. But I think the build quality, whenever you do build it, you're not disappointed by that. Everything's solid. There's next to no plastic on the thing. The height adjustment controls on the front is really the only plastic there. There is a couple of plastic brackets for the legs, but they're very minimal, and a good 95% of that is solid aluminium or a mix of small bit of steel for reinforcement probably. The glass is excellent, very easy to clean, so I can't really say any negatives there. Of course, if you place the desk too close to the wall, then you'll have difficulty reaching your rear I/O, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Mounting positions for extra monitors, they do provide mounting plates in the box. I do have the left monitor up, as you can see, though depending on what type of monitor mount you're using, mine was putting all the pressure on the glass, so I just took some hard card and cut it into shape so that the actual mount for the monitor was putting weight on the bracket rather than on the glass. So just something to bear in mind if you plan to have a dual or triple monitor setup. But moving on to the positives, yeah, you've got amazing space inside to work with. Doesn't matter what kind of build you have, you're not going to be constrained for space. Airflow is excellent. Dust management's quite good. It's not going to be perfect, but compared to regular clay cases and especially high airflow cases, I've had to clean this far less, and it's a lot easier. So, oh yes, the biggest negative of all, going back to negatives, I just realized that the largest oversight is, yeah, if you want to do any work inside, then you have to take everything off. Monitors, keyboard, mouse, the lot just needs to come off to be able to remove the glass top. But of course, there's nothing can be done about that. That's just how it is. So, so yeah, fact of life there. But positive wise, yeah, the desk height, brilliant. Have had no issues with the motors. And something I was curious about at the start of ownership and have discovered through accidental stupidity and just accidents is if, for example, I'll leave the chair underneath the desk, which is what you usually do, and I adjust the height. Sometimes I went to lower the height and forgot to pull the chair out, and then you have that moment of panic thinking, oh no, it's going to try and crush down on the chair. But no, if it sees that there's an object there, it will just back off and increase the height by 2-3 centimeters and rest there. So no worries about burning out the motors or putting extra strain on them to create any problems. So I'm glad they thought of that. Yeah, I think I'm running out of things to say. So overall, if you're in a situation like me where you have to work from home, your space is limited, and you want to find a solution that doesn't involve multiple parts, or you just want something like an all-in-one solution, this is going to be as good as it gets. I don't know how they can improve on it other than the cable management gripes that I have, but and I can't see price really coming down unless there's competition. But because it's such a niche market, I don't think you're going to see these come onto the market or have newer generations come around all that often, but hopefully I'm proven wrong. So, but if you have 1,300 quid plus to spend on one of these things, and you're wondering if you should go for it, I would say yeah. Bearing in mind the small negative things I have to say on it, but I'm absolutely happy with it, and I would buy another one if I had to. So I think I'll leave it there. If there's anything I've overlooked or you're curious about something, then just leave a comment and I'll try to reply to you. Okay, thanks for watching, and hope I didn't mumble and stumble too much.